Hi. So I want to take you through my healing journey. I'm going to try to break it down into short blips over the next week or so. We'll see. I'm going to start with the physical. My hopes are for you, for anybody that has had any injuries, um, whether it's emotional trauma or physical trauma, that you heal it 100%. Do not take no for an answer. I want you to know that you can get back to a place of, well, probably better than you ever remember. You can get back to a state of pure essence where our bodies are filled with, when our bodies are uninhibited and everything is flowing the way it needs to be flowing, we are experiencing pleasure on, it's a very subtle, but very potent level of pleasure at all times. And with that is accompanied by pure peace. Like if you're, when you're in a state of fight or flight, right? And the opposite is rest and relaxation. So you could see this as rest and relaxation. When you are not in pain in any way, your body is in a state of pure, it's like bliss, it's pure peace and pleasure. And really, that's all we need. So I just want to give you a quick insight on, for me, this was a really pivotal year. I stayed dedicated to my path in healing some old injuries. And really, I pushed through and I trusted and I did it. And I mean, it's unbelievable. So for the first time, I feel half of my body is responding to muscle building now. So what happened is in 2009, I had quite a handful of injuries from, I used to train horses, and I had several really, really strong injuries that threw off my entire body from functioning correctly. I had no ability to build muscle on one side of my body because there just was a disconnect from the ability to do so. Everything I was always working out. I just do a lot of like walking and yoga. And but even just from walk, I walk several miles. From walking several miles a day, one leg was always staying strong and one had wasting and thirsting. I didn't have any connection to that leg. So it's like I'm trying to break it down, but in 2020, I started drinking Kangen water. And that is the only thing that I have done differently that has made a significant difference. And so Kangen water allows our body to be deeply hydrated on a cellular level. So, water is the most important thing we take in. We are mostly water. We are chronically dehydrated because our water doesn't work right in our body. Kangen water does function right in our body. And so it's molecular hydrogen, which is the tiniest little molecule. And in my experience of my body, what it did was it allowed me to be hydrated in the deepest tissues that I needed to be so that these injuries could heal. So, our bodies are so amazing. And what happens when we get an injury, whether it be traumatic, it's a traumatic injury always, whether it be physical or emotional, we adapt immediately. It's not even conscious. Our bodies just adapt for us. And so for me, all the physical muscles, like they changed place and they adapted. So I wasn't even able to like get into my muscles got all thrown off. Different muscles should have been more towards the back that were forming towards the front and vice versa. And of course, it keeps you surviving, which is great. But I'm not here to just survive. I'm here to thrive. and that's why I'm so passionate about this. And I want everybody to feel this way. When our bodies are thriving, we're in a state of bliss and peace. We're in a state of pleasure and peace at the same time. So by drinking Kangen water, it was able to hydrate all of those tissues that were like holding on. And then the traditional Chinese medicine, I use different herbal medicines for injury. There are a lot of blood invigorators and movers, and then acupuncture and rolfing. So these are the things that I've done throughout this whole time. And there's been a food therapy aspect too, which I'll talk about in a different video because that changes a lot. But acupuncture and rolfing has always stayed consistent through my healing. And when I added Kangen water, each treatment that I got, whether it was rolfing or acupuncture, the results were exponential. They were just way more, I got way more out of those treatments than I've ever got before. So that's what deep hydration did for me. I reached a level of healing that definitely wasn't possible without being deeply hydrated. And then the herbal medicine that I added, it did what it is supposed to do better than I've ever experienced it. So I have always experienced it as working, but it did this whole other level now where it's like completely healed. I love it. I love it, and I'm amazed, and I knew it was possible. That's why I do the medicine that I do. I won't stand for anybody to say that it's not going to work. Or the natural world, I believe in nature. I believe that everything that we needed was here, and I think that man does more harm than good. And yeah, it's possible to heal your body back completely. So now that's the physical side of it, and the emotional side is super exciting and fun, and that's a whole nother level, but that I'm going to go to over this next week in videos. But the main thing is when your body is in aligned and flowing properly, we have our memories come back, and then we can heal the traumatic injuries in that way. You remember dreams you had from when you were little. You remember how you arrived here in that state of purity, your sparkle and your essence before you got injured by the world. So anyhow, if you need any help through this in your own personal life, or anybody else please share, pass along my email or my website or my video, and I am here to help.